How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times that made us laugh outweigh the bad. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever's gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. I don't know where this road is going to lead. All I know is where we've been and what we have been through. If we get to see tomorrow, I hope it's worth all the wait. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. And I'll take with me the memories to be my sunshine after the rain. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. And I'll take with me the memories to be my sunshine after the rain. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Loving can hurt. Loving can hurt sometimes, but it's the only thing that I know. When it gets hard, you know it can get hard sometimes. It is the only thing that makes us feel alive. We keep this love in a photograph. We make these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, our hearts are never broken, and time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. Wait for me to come home. Loving can heal. Loving can mend your soul. And it's the only thing that I know. I swear it will get easier. Remember that with every piece of you. And it's the only thing we take with us when we die. time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. And if you hurt me, that's okay, baby. Only words bleed inside these pages. You just hold me. I won't ever let you go. Wait for me to come home. 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 Oh, you can fit me inside the necklace you got when you were 16, next to your heartbeat where I should be. Keep it deep within your soul. And if you hurt me, well, that's okay, baby. Only words bleed inside these pages. You just hold me. I won't ever let you go. Wait for me to come home.
Memories like the corners of my mind, misty watercolor memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one another for the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Or has time rewritten every line? If we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? Could we? Memories may be beautiful, and yet what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. So it's the laughter we will remember whenever we remember the way we were.
Loving can hurt. Loving can hurt sometimes, but it's the only thing that I know. When it gets hard, you know it can get hard sometimes. It is the only thing that makes us feel alive. We keep this love in a photograph. We make these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, our hearts are never broken, and time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet, and you won't ever be alone. Wait for me to come home. Loving can heal. Loving can mend your soul, and it's the only thing that I know. I swear it will get easier. Remember that with every piece of you. And it's the only thing we take with us when we die. Keep this love in its photograph. We made these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, our hearts were never broken, time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. And if you hurt me, that's okay, baby. Only once, please. Inside these pages, you just hold me. I won't ever let you go. Wait for me to come home. 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 Oh, you can fit me inside the necklace you got when you were 16, next to your heartbeat where I should be. Keep it deep within your soul. And if you hurt me, well, that's okay, baby. Only once, please. Inside these pages, you just hold me. I won't ever let you go. Wait for me to come home.
Memories light the corners of my mind. Misty watercolor memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one another. for the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Or has time rewritten every line? If we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? Could we? Memories may be beautiful, and yet what's too painful to remember? We simply choose to forget. So it's the laughter.
Thank you so much for everyone for joining us today. I think my dad would have been suitably impressed that I was chaotic, disorganized, and late for today. That's the way it's always been with us. So I just wanted to thank everyone else for being here on time and coming through to today's special event for him. To those online on the virtual link and everyone that's sitting here in the room with us today, we are here at the Walter Sisulu National Botanical Gardens to honor my father, Muhammad Ganief Fataar. While many of us knew him as part of various faith traditions, Ganief was an atheist who valued goodness and compassion above all else. In keeping with his beliefs, we celebrate his life today through a humanist memorial service, a time to reflect on the values of kindness, empathy, and the tremendous impact that one individual's love and compassion could bring. His final wish was to be cremated through aquamation, much like Archbishop Desmond Tutu. He loved the idea of a water cremation that would return his ashes back to nature in a gentler and more eco-friendly fashion. And yesterday, we honored those wishes, and he went through the aquamation process. Today, it's fitting that this humanist memorial for Ganief takes place at the beautiful Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens. Ganief dreamed of coming here once he was feeling stronger so that he could see the waterfall and walk the trails, but sadly, he never got the chance to do so. So once the service is over, for those that are here today, please take a walk through the garden. You would have received a ribbon, and if you haven't, please come and get one from us. Take a walk through and commemorate Ganief's life journey. Our hearts will carry the weight of the loss today, but we also carry the light of love and the enduring spirit of a truly remarkable man who leaves a significant, enduring legacy. Muhammad Ganief Fataar was born in Coronationville on the 6th of September 1953 to his mother, Jean Fataar. His father, Shaban Bani Desai, had been exiled to the UK for his political allegiances to the PAC. Fearing political intimidation for her family, Jean chose to raise Ganief on her own with the support of her very close-knit family. Their modest home on Terrace Road in Fordsburg was shared by 11, crammed into 2 rooms. The matriarch, Amina Abada, Jean and her sister Momo, as well as the aunties, Fauzi, Mari, and Babi. His aunt Dila and cousin Sania and Zain were like sisters and brothers to Ganief. But he only had one baby brother, Nadim. The famous five, they called themselves. They were more than just relatives, and when Auntie Jazz, Uncle Omar, and Uncle Mickey were at home in Fordsburg, they all became a cherished network of friends, allies, and confidants. Ganief's formative years were shaped by music, fashion, sport, and the hippie generation, leaving an indelible mark on his character. When he met Lorraine in 1973, they became instant soulmates who shared flower power values and ideals. And in 1977, after 3 years of marriage, their eldest daughter was born. A week and 2 years later, in 1979, their baby daughter, Tasneen, was born. Over the last 70 years of his life, Ganief excelled in an IT career that spanned 50 years. He lived in over a dozen different homes, occupied 6 different sports administration roles within the South African and international table tennis federations, traveled to more than 30 cities over a dozen years, saw Carlos Santana live in concert on 3 different occasions. In remembering Ganief, let us not only reflect on the numbers that marked his accomplishments, but also celebrate the immeasurable impact of laughter, the warmth of his embrace, and the love he shared so generously. Ganief wasn't just a statistic of success. He was a one-of-a-kind soul who enriched the lives of all fortunate enough to know him. Ganief is survived by his devoted wife, Lorraine, with whom he shared 49 years of love. He's also survived by his daughters, Mia and Taz, and his son, William Henderson. The service today will give us a chance to share stories, shed tears, and perhaps even spark some laughter, for in those cherished memories we find the truest reflections of Ganief's spirit. Okay, our first speaker for today, since this is a humanist way of life, is Zain Fataar. Zain is Ganief's closest cousin, a partner in crime who's been there with Ganief through thick and thin. Zain was a constant source of joy, always ready for a mischievous adventure. A social butterfly, Zain makes everyone feel welcome to any situation. According to Ganief, Zain was the living embodiment of the true meaning of family and friendship. Today, Zain stands before us uniquely positioned to illuminate Ganief's exploration of a humanist way of life. Ganief, a seeker of the profound and meaningful, found deep resonance and inspiration in the message of Imagine by John Lennon, viewing it as a powerful anthem that encapsulated his humanist and atheist beliefs. The song's message of peace, unity, and the boundless possibilities of a world free from division and conflict spoke to Ganief's commitment to the universal values of love. As we reflect on this song, let us consider the beauty of his path. In embracing humanism, he advocated for goodness within all of us, fostering compassion and understanding. Through the lens of Imagine, witness the impact of Lennon's philosophies echoing through Ganief's own way of life.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill.
down a bit. And we all at that stage, well, not we all, most of us in our circle of friends and circle of life, we need these as well. I also just again want to personally thank all of you for taking the time out and making the effort to be here. We know some of you had to take off from work, a lot of pensioners here, so maybe not. But anyway, thank you so much for being with us. Is it okay now? Is it okay? Can you guys hear me okay? I'd like to share with you guys a few little small anecdotes about Ganief. Now, you're going to be hearing a lot about him, as you heard from Shami, and as the day progresses. So I want to share something with you that probably people wouldn't know. All of you know Ganief as being a very sort of good administrator, leader, and a leader of note. What I want to share with you, and what I want you for you to know, is how Ganief actually honed those skills. I mean, you know, he wasn't just a born administrator and leader and whatever, but through certain things in life, he actually honed these skills. In 1969, in a moment of boredom, we sat outside in a friend's old motor car, an old Zephyr, outside our home in Fordsburg, and decided to start a soccer club, just out of the blue. That was the birth of Young Eagles Football Club. You've seen some images of the team with the red kit, and what we then did was we did some research to find out what we needed to do to get this thing, excuse the pun, to get the ball rolling. And we got hold of some of our local friends and some school friends, and that was the birth of Young Eagles Football Club. Needless to say, Ganief was elected as the chairman of this club, and some other members were elected into various office-bearing positions. We then affiliated to the then Southern Transvaal Football Union, the STFU, which was the sporting body that ran soccer in those days. It was a non-racial organization, very pro-SACOS, and very political, if I could put it that way. And if you think of the time that this happened, you can obviously realize why. Myself and Ganief then started attending regular meetings. Mostly on a Wednesday evening, we took a walk up from Fordsburg to Vredendorp, where the STFU had its headquarters next to the old Queen's Park soccer grounds, better known to most of you as the Fitas grounds. And to some of you who have actually been there, the sand pit. Okay, because it was a sand ground, there was no turf. We didn't have the luxury of playing on turf. We played on sand. Now, myself and Ganief attended these meetings regularly, and these meetings were run by some very distinguished gentlemen, namely a gentleman called Rustam Ali as the chairman, and the then very flamboyant Abdul Bamji. We were also in the presence of some great gentlemen, especially the delegates from the Dynamo Soccer Club, namely the late Ahmed Timo, who many of you may recognize the name, and also the Pahad brothers, the very same Pahad brothers who were excelled in the ANC as members of the ANC. These gentlemen were very eloquent, very educated, and we learned a lot from them. And like I said, this is where Ganief started honing his admin skills and his political skills and various other things. Many evenings we actually walked home from Vredendorp back to Fordsburg past midnight. Now you must remember this was during a normal school week, but it's the sacrifice that we made. We then used what we learned at those meetings to establish a very organized soccer club at a very sort of young age. Now, one other thing that I'd like to sort of just bring up here is Ganief was never really a soccer player per se, okay? He was really always our admin guy and our go-to guy. He obviously was at all the training sessions, all the games. He was always there. And at our training sessions, he liked to stand in the goal while we actually sort of practice our shooting and target and kicking and things like that. Not to know that that would hold him in good stead one day. And this day, what happened is one season, our team actually reached a knockout final. And for some reason or the other, our regular goalkeeper, who some of you may know, the late Mr. Ronald McCulloch, decided to go to Port Elizabeth on holiday. Okay? Who else but Ganief had to take up the mantle and keep goal for us on that very, very important game? Now let me tell you something. Ganief came to the party. The game ended in a draw and obviously went to a penalty shootout. And Ganief actually saved 2 penalties. And we actually won that game. Needless to say, Ganief was the hero of the day. That was the highlight of his soccer playing career. The only highlight of his playing career. Now, as mentioned, music was the essence of our life. Okay, we were fortunate to have an aunt, Jasmine, who I know is not with us here today, but is with us in spirit, who had a friend who owned a music shop, a place called Mike's Music Inn. Very, very popular in those days. And we were fortunate enough that virtually on a weekly basis, she came home with 2 or 3 LPs of all the top groups at that time. Just to mention a few: Grand Funk Railroad, Rare Earth, Santana, Jimi Hendrix, 2 live albums of the live Woodstock album, Uriah Heep, and many more. For those of you who were into the music at that time, you know what I'm talking about, and you'll probably, there's so many we can't mention. We spent many a weekend at home with friends, just sitting and listening to this music. Now at that time we also learned to play the guitar. And we had many a memorable sing-along. And for those of you who knew Ganief, he loved a good sing-along. That he absolutely enjoyed it. We were not that good singers, but who cares? Myself and Gani, as we now call him, adopted what was then called the hippie culture. We grew our hair, we wore funky clothes, and generally just lived a life of love, peace, and music. We went out clubbing now and then, and went to many a music festival at the Wits University, and also frequented a club called the Nunnery at Wits. I don't see too many of our school friends there, but the few that are there will know exactly what I'm talking about. After we matriculated in 1972, just to go back and say, Ganief was always a year ahead of us in school. So we went to school regularly. Ganief did his matric in 71, but then decided to come back to improve on his marks. So he actually joined us, and myself and him then were in the same class, much to my enjoyment. We started our first job in 1973 together. We worked together. We started our job at January 73 and worked together for about 3 years. So the friendship and the closeness continued. And then along came Lorraine. And everything was over, the fun and games. Actually not, to be quite honest. It just carried on with more partners in crime, if you want to put it that way. And the funny thing is, Lorraine also had a friend in the music industry. He was an announcer or a DJ on a radio station. I forget his name, but she knows exactly who I'm talking about. And through this gentleman, we also built up a collection which we carried in a very big suitcase, because most of you of that generation know that at that time they had what they called an 8-track sound system. And one of those tapes was about the size of a novel. So, you know, you had to have, we stored it in a case in the boot of our car. And that's actually where we learned about and got to know the Doors. And one of Ganief's favorite bands of all time was a band called Traffic. Like I said, with Lorraine, we started living our lives somewhat independently. He went his way to start a family, I went my way to start a family. But we were never ever far from one another. We were and still are bonded as one. Always. Hambekale, my brother.
Thank you, everyone. We've managed to find the remote for the air conditioner. So hopefully that means the room will start to really cool down a little bit. Thank you so much, Uncle Zane, for your very heartfelt words. My dad really loved you tremendously. And thank you, Jolene. You know, today's ceremony is a lot about fathers and daughters. And we've asked the fathers to come up with their daughters to honor my dad and his daughters. So thank you, Joe, for joining your dad. Next up, we're chatting a little bit about the famous Lorraine. So to understand the love story between Ganief and Lorraine, you have to go back to the 70s. Ganief's uncle Omar had just returned from his time in the Merchant Navy as a transformed man. And by transformation, we're talking about iconic long hair. And sharing in the spirit of rebellion and free thought, Ganief found himself captured by Omar's free-spirited nature, and they had boys' nights out on a Friday, much to Auntie Felicity's chagrin. They downed whiskies and they laughed at the non-white section of a hotel in Fordsburg. And Ganief became a man with a clear identity. But like all good love stories, it was the power of a woman that truly shaped him into the man we all know. Lorraine Davids embraced the fashion and the music of the 70s and traveled by bus to and from Fordsburg when she lived with her Aunt Peggy. She met a woman named Dila Hartley on a bus trip, and they struck up a friendship. It didn't take too long for Ganief to notice his Aunt Dila was only a few years younger than him, had a new friend. And with Lorraine being such an exceptionally beautiful woman, if we must say so, Ganief had a lot of competition, and it took a lot of work to get her to agree to go out on a date with him. But she did. She loved his long hair. She loved his interest in music. She loved that he was a hippie. And he took her out to a movie night at none other than the Majestic. The matriarch of the family, Ma, gave her stamp of approval, and Ganief's mother, Jean, bought Lorraine a beautiful floral arrangement as she warmed up to her, which is exceptional because Jean very rarely bought beautiful floral arrangements for people she just met. But they spent many date nights on a couch in Terrace Road, listening to new records that Auntie Jazz had purchased. And they fell deeply in love with the rock stars that Uncle Zane has mentioned, the Beatles, Traffic, Santana, Hendrix, Led Zeppelin. But it was the music of Bread, with songs like Baby, I'ma Want You, that best embodied their love affair. When they spoke of marriage, they faced a few hurdles with regards to religious challenges between their Christian and Islamic upbringings. Ganief's mother wanted Lorraine to convert to Islam for her son. Lorraine's father, Harry, believed his daughter should remain an Anglican. And just as Ganief and Lorraine solved all their problems, they found a happy compromise. And they managed to sort everything out, and right up until a few months, actually a month ago, celebrated 49 years of marriage. But if you want to hear the story of how they got together and how he proposed, it's probably best to hear it straight from Ganief. Here, in this video clip we're about to play, 21 years ago in 2002, he made a speech at the 50th anniversary of Harry and Irene Davids, just telling you a little bit about how he proposed. You can cue the video.
Baby, I'ma want you. Baby, I'ma need you. You're the only one I care enough to hurt about.
My introduction to this family was very traumatic. I had to get an uncle of the family to come and assist me in asking for Lorraine's hand in marriage, so it was a bit tough for me when I joined this family. But what I found was a family full of love, a family that was extremely unified under the circumstances in which they grew up with. And I think it's taught me and hopefully my daughters to appreciate the unity of family, the unity of being together for such a long time. And I only hope that me and Lorraine is going to also make 50 years. We've hit 28 hopefully this year, and it's been an honor and a privilege being part of this family. Thank you, and may you have many, many more.
Lately I'm a praying that you'll always be a staying beside me. Used to be my life was just emotions passing by. Then you came along and made me laugh and made me cry. You taught me why. Baby, I'ma want you. Baby, I'ma need you. Oh, it took so long to find you, baby. Baby, I'ma want you. Baby, I'ma need you.
Ganief and Lorraine's love story is an honest testament to the enduring power of love and mutual respect. With each year they spent together, they earned respect from others too. And in September 2003, on the eve of Ganief's 50th birthday, a year before Lorraine's father passed away from throat cancer, Harry asked for Ganief's forgiveness for the treatment he faced when asking for Lorraine's hand in marriage. And my dad, being the man he was, had no problems in providing that forgiveness that was so earnestly sought. Since then, the love of family and a family of love has continued to support their partnership. Just a few weeks ago, on the 31st of October, before Ganief succumbed to his battle to cancer, he celebrated his 49th anniversary with Lorraine, finding joy in the simple pleasures of life, cherishing each moment, in a way that only lifelong companions can do. Music once again played an important part in commemorating their bond, as the Beatles, with the help of some very amazing AI technology, managed to unearth an unreleased piece of music from John Lennon's lyric book. And they got into the studio to record their final song together. The song, Now and Then, was released on the 2nd of November. Ganief faced the news of his terminal status, but the two of them went back to the 70s and rediscovered the warmth of their first date each time they listened to it. As soulmates forever, their love story entered a final chapter when Ganief slipped away from life while cradled in Lorraine's arms, a poignant and bittersweet symbol of the depth and beauty of their lifelong connection. The love they shared will continue to inspire and resonate in our hearts, a testament to enduring power of love and the awe-inspiring bond they shared with one another. Can you play the video?
I really take Ganief as my son. He respects everyone in the family. He is really part of this family today. I love Ganief. He is a gentleman. He looked after my daughter for the 29 years they are married. He is one of my best son-in-law. He is very humble. He's very everything forgiving you. And I would like that he must forgive me when he really needed me when he went out with Loli, that I couldn't do it for him.
Hello, Ganief. I love you. You are a very lucky boy. People that love you so much. That's all. I miss you. Oh, now and then. I want you to be there for me. Always to return to me. I know it's true. It's all because of you. And if you go away, I know you'll never stay. Now and then, I miss you. Oh, now and then, I want you to be there for me.
Where we come from and where we are now today, it can only be a blessing in terms of.
And we're still going, we haven't stopped yet.
No, we haven't stopped, but the legacy that we are trying to leave is going to be something that we will, you know what I mean?
Live forever.
It's going to live forever.
Then all I can say is like, I mean, oh God, I love you. That's all I can say. That covers it all. That's all I love you.
I think that says a lot about my dad. And he embodied so many traditional ideas and values, but when he came to empowerment and the matters of equality, he made it his mission to instill feminism and those values in his daughters. A self-proclaimed feminist at heart, my dad set the bar very high, He showcased how a man should love and respect a woman through unwavering devotion to my lovely mother, Lorraine. And they shared common views on the place of a girl in society. To have a kind and caring father, we had to have a kind and caring mother, and no decision that Ganief made for his girls was made in isolation. I stand here today privileged to be raised by parents who taught their daughters that we could be anything we wanted to be, that no task was too small or too big for a woman of color. They never saw life through pink and blue lenses with girl jobs and boy jobs, and instead encouraged our independence and our self-resilience. As a couple, they decided my mother would take on the powerful role of being a caregiver at home, a tough job, but she gave us the benefit of wisdom, care, and attention. She broke glass ceilings. She became one of only a handful of women in our family to learn how to drive. My father took great pride in this accomplishment because he encouraged independence in her every single day. And this small step in independence meant that she was able to pay it forward. She taught her sisters how to drive and get their own licenses. She took my grandparents to the stores. She took Momo to the store. And she even took Harry to chemo sessions in his final years. And she was at school every single day to pick us up, come rain or shine. With every single night, my father worked a second job so that he could give us everything he needed to, got up at the crack of dawn to work in faraway places. So while this little accomplishment of learning how to drive might seem small to some, it's just an example of the way that my father quietly encouraged and fostered a healthy sense of self. He lovingly referred to me and Taz as his girls, a moniker that expanded to include my mom, with a collective identity of Ganief and the girls. Life was a whirlwind with my sister and I under the roofs. As little girls, I was the bookworm, Taz was the tomboy, each holding a special place in his heart. We never got him to tell us which one was his favorite. I say it's me, Taz disagrees. My mother won't even entertain the question. Instead, she told us how he loved both of us, and we were loved by both of them. And of course, she's right. She's always right. She encouraged us to choose our partners carefully as she did. And so for Taz, she purposefully searched for her soulmate, who mirrored my dad's kindness. In 2014, she met William Henderson, the Scotsman in the kilt, in the front row. He came to my dad to ask for a hand in marriage, not out of tradition, but out of respect for a man that he knew held such a special place in Taz's heart. They got married in 2019 in a very small event. And William became the son that my mother and my father had always longed for. William and Ganief created their own unique father and son bond, fueled by conversations over a shared appreciation for a good glass of whiskey. And now, as endless moments of cherished laughter and light-hearted banter are no more, Will would like to read a poem that expresses how he feels about my dad. Will, are you able to? Please come up.
You had to say
Yeah.
You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he'll come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday. Or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he is gone. Or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry, you can close your mind, be empty and turn your back. Or you can do what Ganief would have wanted. Open your eyes, smile, love, and go on.
Thank you, my brother. And he's right, love will go on indeed. As Michael Bolton's song proclaims, fathers and daughters never say goodbye. Please cue the music.
This is something my daughter said at my birthday to me. She said, between the three of us here, somewhere along the line, and this is something I'm not ashamed to say, we didn't have any frame of reference with a father figure, so to speak. But even if I have to say so myself, Ganief, Nadeem, and myself have turned out to be damn fantastic fathers. Yeah. And that's the legacy we're going to leave to our children. Cheers.
Cheers.
If I could catch a star for you, I swear I'd steal them all tonight, to make your every wish come true, your every dream for all your life. But that's not how the story goes. The world is full of perfect plans. If there's a promise that I broke, I know one day you'll understand. When times are hard, I know you'll be strong. I'll be there in your heart, and you'll carry on like moonlight on the water and sunlight in the sky. Fathers and daughters never say goodbye. The angel I would read to sleep gave me one dream of my own. So learn to love and spread your wings, and find the world to call your home. When times are hard, I know you'll be strong. I'll be there in your heart, and you'll carry on like moonlight on the water and sunlight in the sky. Fathers and daughters never say goodbye. Fathers and daughters never say goodbye.
Well as Lorraine's 7 brothers and sisters have all called him their brother. Ganief would do anything for them, and they would do anything for him. Because of everything that he, my grandmother Jean, and my mother put in place for our families. He opened his doors to Aunt Fozia and Zarina when Aunt Fozia was sick and needed care. He provided a safe place to stay for Vanessa, Sandra, Ingrid, and Jerome when the home life was in distress, and was always there for my mom's grandmother, Violet Lloyd Dennis, as well as his own mother, Jean. He even took in his grandmother's sister when she had no place to go. But even with a full house and a full heart, he always maintained a special place for his baby brother, Nadeem. Being the proud elder sibling, he celebrated all of Nadeem's milestones, his marriage to the other Lorraine, the arrival of their daughter Sinead, who brought so much joy to their lives, Nadeem's success in business, the homes, the cars, and everything he's owned over the years, these two siblings made big plans to navigate life's adventures together, but with Ganief's passing, many cherished plans and shared dreams remain unfulfilled. So we'd like to call up Nadeem to pay tribute to his brother. There is a poem he would like to read, and then he will give a special tribute. And Nadeem will be joined by Sinead.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming to celebrate my brother's life today. I'm going to read a poem that I think is apt. It's called My Brother. As kids, we lived together. We fought, we laughed, we cried. We did not always show the love that we both had inside. We shared our dreams and plans and some secrets too. Oh, you read it.
We shared our dreams and plans and some secrets too. All the memories we share is what bonds me now to you. We grew to find we have a love that is very strong today. It's a love shared by our family that will never fade away. You're my brother, not by choice, but by the nature of our birth. I could not have chosen a better one. You were the best brother on earth.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Uncle Nadeem. You know, this is very hard for you, as it is for so many of us here today. We had discussed, what music would best represent this relationship, and the obvious choice, He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother by the Hollies, seems to embody the essence of the kind of unwavering support and solidarity in the face of life's trials and tribulations. The song's poignant message serves as a tribute to the bond between Ganief, Nadeem, and every one of Ganief's brothers and sisters. It captures the essence of unyielding bond, reaffirming a promise to carry each other's burdens, embrace life's journey together, even in the face of adversity. Play the video.
The road is long, with a many a winding tongue that leads us to who knows where, who knows where. But I'm strong. My brother, so on we go. His welfare is my concern. No burden is he to bear. We'll get there. He's my brother. Lean heavy. He's my brother.
Beyond family, extended to sports and politics, as Zain has already pointed out. And they really intersected during high school when he played that goalkeeper position for Young Eagles Football Club. Zain had the talent and the charisma on the pitch. Ganief had the leadership skills in sports management. And they learned about non-racial sports through all their football affiliations and bonded with their fellow classmates at the Coronationville High School. Ganief's leadership extended beyond just the football pitch. He reunited the classes of 1971 and 1972 for their 50-year reunion. And we'd like to ask Lawrence to please come up and say a couple of words with regards to this reunion group and what this has meant to everyone 50 years after leaving matric.
Greetings, everybody. Firstly, on behalf of the alumni group, we extend our condolences to you as a family, and we grieve with you as you grieve, because in coming together, I think we got a lot closer than we would have liked to have believed. The Ganief that we met 50 years ago and the Ganief that we met in our recent encounter. In fact, amazingly, it was the same guys. It's amazing how after 50 years, people come together and you can still fit in. I need to say that, we want to, from the alumni group, we want to acknowledge just what you all, and especially the family, meant and done for Ganief. When you talk about a kind, caring person that Ganief was, I think you amplified that in your time with him during his illness. You stood by him and you supported him, and you also, you didn't make it a secret. You kept it, although you kept it low profile, you made it very good knowledge. And I'm not here to talk too long about that, but I also just want to say to you that you as a family, you formed part of that other John Lennon song that says, when I find myself in times of trouble, yes, Mother Mary comforts me. You guys were the Mother Marys in his life, and find peace in that. That having been said, I was not meant to talk about that, but an alumni group, we're old enough to have to not make too many apologies for our behavior. So Ganief was very keen. I must just first say to you this thing. This is my view, and so Ganief's good behavior. Many times you would ask yourself, why was Ganief so well behaved, and what made it happen? And my summary is this. It says Ganief's good behavior made up for Zain's bad behavior. So today, but yet having been said, when I talk about Ganief, just in my relationship with Ganief, maybe from school days and in this formation of this alumni group, when I talk about Ganief, I talk in community of property as Ganief and Zain. So if I don't mention your name, you know what it is. So just a bit of background. So it was Ganief's dream to get because it's 50 years since we matriculated, that we get the people together. I think it must have been a yearning of some sort. It was, and when I got involved, for me, I also felt it was like a legacy project, something that he wanted to do. Ganief, the person, in getting the organization done, all the attributes that you spoke about became very important. discipline, peace, conflict management, and bringing the people together. So out of that, the aim was to bring the matriculants together and have a reunion function, just so that everybody gets to know each other. I must tell you, it's a scary event, you know, after 50 years when you come together and you say, wow, you know. So that, with the help of all the members, the alumni is made up of approximately 40 members, and we got together at an event that was organized through Tony at, what's that place's name? Hailey Seas. We took over Hailey Seas. The veterans took over Hailey Seas that night. Ganief was not well at the time, but he joined us. And having that a year ago, it was December last year that we had that, you know, we had hope. You know, we'd never have thought at that time that today we would be celebrating Ganief's passing. However, the fact that he made that happen, Ganief was very instrumental that we included other students. Initially it was class of 71, then class of 72. But again, in his vision and mission about being all-encompassing, he wanted us to include as many people as possible. So he achieved his dream of a reunion in December last year. The whole aim of the organization was we planned to provide support for students of Coronation High, which is our alma mater. And the idea was that we would either create projects, support the school, or maybe even find opportunities for the kids at the school. This baton is now passed on to Zane, who is the current chairman. And on behalf of the alumni, I want to encourage you to support Zane and the alumni group to achieve the aims and objectives that were set by Ganief. You know, if there was something that he wanted to do, it was to pay back to that school. I'm sure there's other organizations that he was in, but he was passionate about that. You know, so many of us, when we forget where we come from, and this was very important for him. It was his time. So again, on behalf of the organization, our condolences, but find comfort in that there's a legacy that lives on way beyond his passing. So may he rest in peace. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Lawrence, and to all of the alumni who are here today and are joining us online and will join the recorded version of this memorial when they get an opportunity to do so. But apart from being a principled leader with his school class, Ganief's real love, other than Lorraine, was table tennis. And table tennis came to Ganief through Lorraine. Lorraine introduced him to the sport. That was first played by Uncle Justice Volkwein. And together they played table tennis and drew in the rest of the family. We had Zane, Nadim, Ingrid, Martin, Alan, and countless others who were all swept into his table tennis world. And he forged lifelong friendships as one of the founders of Anchor's Table Tennis Club. And there's so much more to the story that I wouldn't be able to do it justice. So we'd like to welcome Hajira Kaji from the South African Table Tennis Board to please come up and pay tribute to my dad. At the time of his passing, the SATTB was very swift in releasing an obituary for my dad, which I think most of you have seen by now. And the ITTF have supported it as well. So Ajira will introduce you to the rest of the board.
Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't do this alone. I need to share this with Audrey, our Vice President of Finance, and Mr. Tabang said so. our Vice President, competition. Good morning to everybody. I hope it's still morning. To Lorraine, Shamila, Tasneem, to the Fataar and David's extended family, and to all his friends that are present here. On behalf of the South African Table Tennis Board, on behalf of us, our sincere condolences and deepest sympathy. Today we are gathered here to pay tribute to a man whose humility and selflessness were legendary, who walked with those in high office, but never lost his common touch, and for whom the watchwords honesty, integrity, and accountability were immovable standards embedded in his leadership. We, the table tennis family, I'm so emotional, and sporting fraternity share your pain, your sadness and hurt, but we also want to thank you for allowing us to have been the beneficiaries of the goodness, the wisdom, the vision, the selflessness, and the leadership of Ganief. We benefited greatly. We are all here in grief, but let us grieve in joyful praise. Let us reflect and learn from the footsteps of his life that our friend and comrade Ganief would have made. He was a relentless crusader against a vicious apartheid system and post-liberation. He was uncompromising in his pursuit of excellence in sporting administration. I think it was mentioned. He was a tough administrator. I worked with him. He used to come to my home and we used to work till late, but an absolute stickler for rules and regulations. But after he completed his work, he had the ability, and he was a social person, he could relax. His laugh was infectious. I must share this with you, and maybe Audrey and Tabang. We went to Congo, Democratic Congo. Ganief and I traveled a lot for the ATTF meetings, international table tennis, the then Zone 6, Region 5, and we went to Congo, DRC. It was him and I, and we thought we were going to get our single rooms, and we were there for the meeting. We discovered there were only two rooms and 2 double beds. So, and there was Tom from Uganda, another delegate. So we 3 that didn't have place. So we went around DRC Congo to look for accommodation. We couldn't find any. So at the end, he said, Hajira, you sleep in that room on the bed, and I will share with Tom. 2 men sharing a bed in Congo. I said, Ganief, put a blanket in between in case you don't roll over. So those were the memories and we shared. And I think both Audrey and Tabang had lots of laughter. Also, we had the wrath of Ganief in meetings, and where we didn't present or what he didn't want. My last interaction with Ganief was on the 5th of November. I just wanted to know how he was. I regularly made contact with him, and he responded that we may have had our differences, and if we didn't have, we wouldn't be the organization that we are today. And he said, but you and I stuck together. We were the glue that kept the organization together. So, Ganief, thank you. I just want to read this quote. It's called Peace, My Heart by Rabindranath Tagore. Peace, my heart, let the time for the parting be sweet. Let it not be a death, but completeness. Let love melt into memory and pain into songs. Let the flight through the sky end in the folding of the wings over the nest. Let the last touch of your hands be gentle like the flower of the night. Stand still, O beautiful end, for a moment and say your last words in silence. I bow to you and hold up my lamp to light you on your way. Thank you for allowing us to be here today. Thank you. I also want to leave behind, after we released, I want to leave behind Shamila and Taz, messages that came from the ITTF. It's on the ITTF website, on the ATTF website, and I think as a family, if you would like to respond. But the one important thing was that in 2010, when we went to Moscow, Maggie was with us. She was playing, or she was a coach. We tabled a resolution that the now masters, which is called the veterans, was with a separate organization. And as tabled in South Africa, which Ganief presented, and Raul, the secretary, Raul Kalen, writes about it here, that it took 10 years. But that resolution went through, and now it's called the ITTF World Masters under the ITTF. So I will leave these messages because it will take too long to read from everybody. And thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for those really kind words. There are people from all over the world who are watching this link today because of that spirit that my dad had. And he was beloved by many. And yes, he fought. Him and Ajira were another couple, other than my mother and Zayn, another soulmate in table tennis. And we really thank you for that tribute, and we will make sure that we respond to all the messages that have been received. There are some beautiful words that have been shared, and we'll endeavor to get them across to all of you as well that have participated in today's ceremony. So we just have a couple more items left on the program. I understand it's boiling in this room. But the one thing that we would like to do now is to turn to a faithful tribute. It is an interesting component of having a humanist ceremony that traditionally there aren't any religious readings or scriptures or prayers. But my father was never a traditional person. He always bucked the trends. And having been born to a Muslim mother and raised in the Islamic faith, that played a significant part of his early life. And then having such a diverse religious family, the Christian faith also played a meaningful role in shaping his perspective. And despite identifying as an atheist and not subscribing to the concept of an afterlife, Ganief inherited from both religions guiding principles of how to live, how to treat one another, how you want to be treated, living with humility and kindness in one's heart. These values resonated very deeply with him. It shaped his character and influenced his approach to life. And his ability to draw inspiration from diverse faith-based traditions embody his compassion and empathy. And it reflects an inclusive spirit that defines his existence. It encouraged his generosity in charity work, as well as the ideals of paying it forward. In honor of Ganief's very tolerant live and let live worldview, we would firstly like to invite Ganief's uncle, Omar Abader, and his brilliant daughter, Cindy Manuel, to complete a tribute to him from the Christian side of the family. And this will be followed by a tribute from Ganief's cousin, Fiona Ma, accompanied by her father, Kader, an Islamic tribute. So I'm going to hand over to Omar and Cindy first. And please feel free to participate as you wish in these parts of the ceremony.
Hi everyone. Last week when Shami broke the news to Fiona and I that we were doing a tribute, it was quite panic stations for the both of us. We've literally been in contact. I don't think we've been in contact so much like we have in this past week, checking on each other. How far are you? How far are you? Have you got anything? Have you done anything? I'm guilty to say I only finished my speech this morning because it was quite tough. And I think in honoring the memory of my cousin, Ganief, who is 20 years my senior, but he's been a part of my life. All my memories are Gani, Nadim, Zain, and my dad. They were very, very close, and my love for music comes from them. And yeah, I think that's also why I like old music. Because of them. And you know, he was Gani to me. He was never Ganief. He was always Gani. And as we gather here today, and we recognize the impact of a life lived with passion, kindness, and integrity. And while he might not have embraced the tenets of a Christian faith, we can find solace in celebrating the qualities that defined his journey on this earth. Okay, he loved family. Gani absolutely loved family. He was happiest when the family was together. And you know, growing up, Shami and the rest of my cousins will tell you, that's who we were. We got together for no reason at all. We were family, whether it was in Fordsburg on a Saturday afternoon, just watching music videos, and then the kids running across to the plaza to buy China fruit. Or do you remember when New Edition came out with those plastic glasses? Nini, do you remember? And the plaza was selling them, and we all had to have a pair. Or we would meet at Uncle Kaden and my late Auntie Bobby's house for Sunday lunches, because they had a pool, guys, and so that's where we got together, playing volleyball, having matches, or the epic lolly parties. I don't know who's been to the lolly parties. That's not family, but they were epic. You must know it's epic when the truck comes with the alcohol. They were epic. And there were always themes like cross-dressing, and Gani was always there. And I think it was just testimony to who we are as a family. We were always together. And fortunately, with the passing of Ma and Auntie Jean and Momo, these family gatherings became less. And my Auntie Jazz, she tried to try and get the family together at least quarterly. But then she moved to Plet to love the good life there. And she kind of handed the mantle over to me. So right now, I'm not doing such a great job. Maybe once a year we get together as a family. But my fondest memory of Gani was, you know, every time he'd come to me and he'd look at me and he'd say, my child, you know, even though I'm his cousin, my child, you You always bring the family together. Thank you. Thank you for always opening up your house to the family and to get together as a family. And then he'd hug me and he'd say, I love you. And I want you to know that you're such a blessing. And you're such a blessing to your mommy and daddy. And that's what he always used to say to me. And one thing about him is he lived a life that just echoed universal values of love, compassion, and generosity. In every interaction, he demonstrated a profound understanding of humanity, fostering connections that transcend religious boundaries. The warmth of his spirit touches the lives of those who are fortunate enough to know him and have an indelible mark on all of our lives. My last moments with Ganief was the Saturday before he passed. We got together as a family, and we were all sitting around the bed, and we were reminiscing about family and how much fun we had together and the parties. And then I think it was Shami was talking about the new Beatles song. And we then discovered to our dismay that Emma, who's my youngest, does not know who the Beatles were. And Ganief was like horrified. She's like, you don't know the Beatles? And it was just like, and she just like, you know, 11-year-olds that think they all that in a box of chocolates. Like, she just looked at us as if to say, so what? But she redeemed herself by the fact that she's a Queen fan. And she's a big Queen fan, believe it or not. She actually, to my dismay, loves Queen more than Michael Jackson. And if everybody knows, I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. But my little one loves Michael Jackson. And so she redeemed herself in Ganief's eyes. But needless to say, that day, after we left Ganief, on the way home, it was the Beatles. She listened to all their songs. So, yeah, so safe to say she knows the Beatles. And then on the way to here today, you can ask my son, I turned to Matthew and I said, Matthew, do you know who's the Beatles, eh? He like rolled his eyes. He says, of course, Mommy, I know who's the Beatles. I said, yeah, but Emma doesn't. He says, yeah, but she's young. I said, I don't care. She didn't know who the Beatles were. So I just want to say, as Christians, we are called to love unconditionally. And Ganief really exemplified that principle. He showed us what the essence is of a meaningful life, that it doesn't just lie on religious affiliations, but in genuine bonds that we forge and the positive impact we have on the world around us. In remembering my cousin Ganief, let us reflect on the shared values that unite us all, values of compassion, empathy, and the pursuit of a better world. He may not have shared any specific belief, but his legacy serves as a testament to the universality of a human experience and the potential of goodness that resides in every individual. There is one verse from the Bible that for me epitomizes Ganief. It's from 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13. It says, 3 things will last forever, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. And that is who my cousin is. And in remembering him, I want you to remember the love he had for all of us. And that how important family is to all of us. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm an Anglican priest. So be prepared for the next hour. Ganief was my nephew, my brother, and my son. That's how he saw me, and that's how I saw him. We spent many times together talking about his humanist way of life, because he would expect me to say something. And he impacted on my life something that I will never forget. He said, do you know why I don't like religion? I said, no, can you tell me? He says, because if you take religion and the word written next to it, hypocrisy, he says, if you can separate that two, I will encompass one of the religions of the world. He says, but you cannot, because people, the same mouth they use to say, I love you, is the same mouth they use to curse their brother. The same mouth that says, let us have peace, is the same mouth that declares war. I said, Ganief, It is the truth, and I cannot wrong you. And I will never forget that. Because I still, to this day, and that happened in the Sex Hotel. I don't know if you know where the Sex Hotel is. I still today think of that. And I say to myself, I wish I could get people to understand how important it is to love. And like my daughter just read here out of Corinthians 13, the reflection of love as Paul saw it. And that is the epitome of what the whole message that Gani's life has come to all of us. He loved unconditionally. He loved sincerely. And his generous heart proclaimed this great love he had, not only for his family, but anybody that came in touch with Gani. So all I'd like to say in conclusion, there's one person that influenced Gani, and Lorraine will testify to this. It's my wife. Because whenever we met with Gani, Lorraine would go home and tell Gani, dish your own food. And he would say to her, you've been with Felicity again. But that's the friendship and the love we shared. To the family, know that the love that Gani left with us was never wasted, because it will continue forever. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm the AK they always call. In fact, now I met Babos, the brother of Umar, brother. I became involved with the family, and became even more involved when I married Babos. And that's where the whole relation and the journey started. I, most of the time, played a part as a catalyst. I hope I've changed many people's lives. The time we had our soccer, showed them what it's all about. And today when I see the success, when I see Shamila, when I see the kids, young kids grow up into big people, I'm very proud of them. And I hope this little bit what I did for the family made a big difference in their lives and in their families. I'd like to just take a little time to convey my condolences to the family, Fataar family. Our deepest sympathies and condolences. And we are with you all the way. And believe me, in my everyday prayers, you may not see me through the year, you may not even hear from me, I may not phone you, but you are always in our prayers, because we are all one. The guys were mentioning about religion. I just want to put a little spec on this religion here. There was a saying between Islam and Christian. So the only difference is a hairline. That's how much close we are. But somehow we can't see that hairline. We decide to build a wall. But I hope, like today, whether we say a prayer in Islam, whether we say in Hebrew, whatever, it's heartfelt and it means its meaning as well. And I'd like to thank Kenny for the time we shared together and for the memories we had with the family. It was most comforting and it's like everlasting. I'd like to end up by saying that Kenny, we were known as the soccer club Young Eagles. So today I say this eagle has spread his wings. He flew so high. He saw so many things. He fought so many battles. And today the eagle has landed. He has come home. And he's in the best of hands, God's hands. And we pray that Allah, I say Allah, my God, give him the best in the heavens. And the memories we shared will be, like I said, for everlasting. And There will be a prayer, a small prayer, I'll say, in Islam. Please don't be offended. It's a prayer for everybody that's here today. Thank you. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم أوسس وقراته من القرآن والصلوات والكلمات تباته وسبات سرقه من هذه الأتمة والشبته لا روح كتن بك وبك خاتم المرسلين شفيع من ثابت جوال مراج أمن بصفاه محمد المصطفى صلى الله على آله وصحبه وسلم ثم على فلان ثم على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا الله. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, no, fine.
By the way, this is Fiona, my eldest daughter. I have another 3 hidden somewhere in the crowd there.
Hello, everybody, family, friends. I'm so grateful for the honor of standing before you today in celebration of Ganief, or Gani as I affectionately have known him all my life. To begin with, I'd like to quote a reference or summary of values from the Quran. Everyone's God-given human dignity must be respected, regardless of his or her faith, race, ethnic origin, gender, or social status, because everyone is created by God Almighty, the maker of all. Humans must treat one another with full favor, full honor, respect, and loving kindness. In my opinion, the aforementioned values epitomize Gani's life. In preparation of this tribute to Gani, I could easily have stuck with convention and reminisced about the experiences of my life with Gani. While making observation about the cousin I had come to know through the years, that, in my opinion, would have been an act of squandering an opportunity to acknowledge his true impact on me specifically and all of us in general. Within the current backdrop of society, I'm sure we would generally agree that promotion of division, conflict, and hate have been normalized, in instances this propagated by the very institutions and influential people who control the narrative, in ensuring that perceptions within these masses remain divisive. Social media has given rise to a great many armchair activists and influencers who further propagate what is perceived to be this mainstream messaging. Not so for Gani. Despite a world in turmoil, he remained true to the values of humanity. He included everyone in his world, irrespective of race, religion, and orientation. These being just some of the differences which have become the focus of driving division amongst us today. He allowed us to flourish in our world and welcomed us into his without dictating terms under which we would participate in his. His commitment to a world of inclusivity was unwavering and grounded in the principled humane approach he had to living his life. His achievements are not only defined by his professions, contributions to table tennis, world travels, and activism, but rather by the way in which he touched everyone in pursuit of these achievements. The aforementioned is only transcended by the legacy he leaves in his family. As a husband to Lorraine, the expression of their unconditional love through their action stands testimony to the human he was and the eternal love they share with each other. They lived it with such ease and such self-assurance. I have no doubt that if one of us was able to bottle it and gift it to the world, it would make the world a much better place to live in. As a father to Shamila and Tasneem, mentor and guide to his 2 beautiful daughters, they have grown into individuals I am in awe of. I see how Ganief continues to live through them all the time. Through his perpetual influence, they will continue to grow into better versions of the amazing individuals they are already. I am so proud to be associated with you. As a father-in-law to William, he welcomed Will into the family core, embracing him as a son. Ganief also touched all of us, not through what he said, but rather through everything he did. All we have to do is embrace what he gifted to each of us. It will inevitably lead us to becoming better versions of ourselves over and over again. We have become accustomed to being guided by the general narrative that living our lives in keeping with the word would be beneficial to us. I'm of the opinion the word lives through Ganief. His moral compass, compassion, consciousness, and love for family and humanity is testimony to the servant of humankind he was. His influence on other people for growth was achieved entirely through his exemplary commitment of respect and loving kindness. These values were innate to him. His responses to them were spontaneous and without reservation. As I toiled the thought that he has left us too soon, Ganief's physical loss feels immense right now, almost too much to endure. However, while we each process our individual grief, I'm consoled by the fact that Ganief has gifted a piece of himself to each of us. He's completed his race. The baton has been handed to us. In conclusion, I'd like to quote from Maya Angelou two quotes that resonate greatly when I think of Ganief. Firstly, try to be a rainbow in someone's life. Secondly, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. Ganief, your impact on me cannot be described in words. I'll forever hear your voice of compassion. Rest in peace, my cousin, till we meet again. Thank you for affording us the time today.
Thank you for those wonderful tributes. It leads us to our final closing piece for today. For a moment of reflection. In 2020, when COVID hit the world and everyone was isolated from their loved ones, Ganief contracted a heart infection that nearly ended his life. A year later, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he bravely took on the fight, this new fight for his life, all the time vowing to reunite with the family he missed so much, while also building a legacy with his school and sports friends. For his 70th birthday, he arranged a series of events to reunite, pay tribute, and ultimately honor his family and friends. But my mother, sister, and I felt that such a momentous occasion, he was the one that needed to be honored with a heartfelt and deeply personal gesture. We gave him 7 days of gifts for every decade he lived, nostalgic photos of his mother, pictures of the homes he lived, as well as more practical gifts like a Bluetooth speaker to play his music. The week-long event of bestowing gifts culminated in a final reveal, a song that we had commissioned. The song is entitled Heart of Gold and encapsulates the joy, strength, and love that he had around him, as well as reflecting on the profound impact he had on all those who were fortunate to know him. As we watch the slideshow set to a touching and meaningful tribute to Ganief, please take time to reflect on the treasured memories and the enduring spirit of love and compassion that Ganief, as we will now call him, brought into our lives. Rest easy, our handsome father. We love you so much. The slideshow features lyrics to the song and many of you are familiar with it. I'd like to ask that you sing along and bring some joy into this moment of celebration, for he truly lived through the words that are reflected in the song, and you would have heard them throughout today. Thank you for watching and attending this Humanist Memorial Service. And to all those online, thank you for joining us as well. Once the song is done, we would love you to wrap the service with a peace finger salute in honor of love and the peace signs that he's used to sign off every single one of his text messages. And if you haven't already done so, because I was late and I didn't bring the book in time, there's a book at the front where you collected your brochure. It's a registry that we'd love for you to write a message that we can share with everyone who's attended this event as well, if you would like us to. Personal messages for him. Once the slideshow is done and we've done the finger salute, we're going to turn the venue around and we are going to set up lunch. Lunch will be served at 1. But again, just a reminder that if you don't have a bow, to please collect one from us so that you can commemorate Ganief's life with a walk in the park, a walk out to the waterfalls, and just take in the beauty of Walter Sisulu, the botanical gardens, and everything that Ganief represents. Thanks, Jonathan.
With a heart of gold, so stern and tall, with your kindness you taught us, with your moral compass you guide us to see what's right and stand up in our life, to value the small things and the joy that life brings. Oh, Ganief, you're the core of our family. You lead the way with all your bravery. Oh, Ganief, you're the core of our family. Let's find the joy in every single day. With your selfless soul, you always give things a go. When you dress up for fun, we know the party has begun. You bring us together through music and laughter. With people we love, we find strength, never give up. Oh, Ganief, you're the core of our family. You lead the way with all of your bravery. Oh, Ganief, you're the core of our family. Let's find the joy in every single day. When the whiskeys are flowing and the music's playing, we are where we belong, together and so strong. We'll keep rolling on, keep chasing the sun. We find joy with you, hope and adventure too. Oh, Ganief, you're the core of our family. You lead the way with all of your bravery. Oh, Ganief, you're the core of our family. Let's find the joy in every single day.
I can't believe this, that you've commissioned a song for me. This is so unique, so special.
We'll be setting the screening back up here, and please come and join us for more celebration of Gani's life. You'll see him in his cross-dressing best, in all of his glory with football, table tennis, his hippie years. Everything is documented there. So, thank you once again for joining us. We may later, take any other messages that you would like to say to Gani during the documentary screening, in between the segments of the documentary. So if you have something you'd like to say, please come and chat to me, and then we can do that after lunch. For now, peace again. Thank you. Yes. Sure, so they're going to be setting up the tables inside the venue. You can move to the outside tables, come and collect ribbons if you'd like to go into the garden.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good time that made us laugh, I'll wave them back. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever's gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.